Hello everyone, this is Dan Gramza and welcome to Advanced Gramza Market Studies for Wednesday, October 28th. Greetings from Shanghai. In the stock market, we can see here in the S&P, I was looking for an unchanged type day. I didn't look for a dramatic move to the downside. We can see it did break a little bit lower in that market. Also, let's take a look at the NASDAQ market, see how that shaped up. And what we can see is something kind of similar. It's an unchanged type day. People are waiting to see what's going to happen with the Fed. I am not bearish on the indices. I do not think the Fed's going to do anything. So I don't look for a dramatic move to the downside, but rather the potential for a dramatic move to the upside. We'll see how the market wants to absorb that kind of information from the Fed. I just don't think the Fed has a reason yet to do anything. And I still think that the market changes from the Fed point of view that we'd be looking for. It's going to happen next year for a Fed rate change. But look at the mid caps. These things really backed off in that regard. You can see it getting a little bit softer compared to all these other indices. This still remains to be the weakest out of all the stock indices. In the S&P, let me just move that up a little bit more for you. We see the market did back off, but look at this action compared to this benchmark candle, near-term benchmark candle, which is not very dramatic. We're not seeing the follow through of the paper to the downside. So I do not look for a down move, but rather a sideways move to higher. The objective in the S&P would be a close above 2082. In the NASDAQ market, the objective here would be a close above 46.53. And over here in the Dow would be a close above 17,625. And in the mid caps, they got a lot of work to do. I don't see that happening, but a close above 1446. In the currencies, we can see the euro made a little attempt at getting stronger, but it backed off. I don't look for strength in that market, but further weakness. The bullish level in this market is at 111.35. Over here in the Swissy, that bullish level is at 102.40. That's been moved down a little bit. I look for continuation to the downside in that market. Yes, the yen did get stronger. I don't see it getting much stronger than this. I'm looking for a sideways to lower move today in that market. If you look at the Aussie dollar, here we had a chance to get stronger. It failed to do that. I'm looking for further weakness in that market, basically a close below 71.40. In the British pound, yes, it had all the right ingredients. It still does. We have a benchmark candle that still remains dominant. This is a slow curve is what I call that behavior. And what are we looking for? I'm looking for a market to go sideways, not lower when it comes to British pound. But lower is what we see in the Canadian dollar, and the bullish level for that market is now at 76.10. That's been lowered. I do look for further weakness in the Canadian dollar. Short end of the curve, not much going on, and nor do we expect much to happen here. But the 10-year notes did firm up as we saw the stock market getting weaker. I don't look for follow-through. The benchmark candles right here in the 10-year notes. I look for it to stay contained, and I'm looking for a down move in that market. Same thing for bonds. Yes, we did get up here, but I look for sellers again to remain dominant. I don't see a reason for the interest rate markets to take off to the upside. In metals, I wasn't looking for much in gold. A sideways move, that's what we've got. I got to tell you, I'm looking for more of the same because there's no real strong reason for this market to rally, although it does want to move higher. Remember, we're still inside the range of this benchmark candle. Same thing over here in the silver market. It's also a market that wants to go higher, but there's just not all the pieces together to create that kind of consistent movement, and we're seeing it struggle. Copper, on the other hand, I am bullish on. Near term, I do look for follow through to the upside. I just don't think it's going to happen today. If you look at the sideways move, they're buying below 235 and they're selling above 236 really. and I'm looking for more of that action to continue in that market. In crude oil, well, there's no reason for it to stop moving lower, although that's exactly what it wants to do, and the bullish level has been moved lower in that market. It's at 44.20. I just don't see a reason for this to strengthen. I am bearish on this market. If we're going to see it slow down, this right here would be the price range between $42.50 and $44. But I do look for a sideways move and weaker prices when it comes to crude oil. Now, in natural gas, we actually may be getting a market that's setting up for a move back to the upside. The bullish level has been tightened up. It's now at 244. In the grain market, soybeans traded above its bearish level, between the bearish and bullish level in that market, and that difference is $250. The next bullish level is at $897. Corn, we have an equal and opposite, just like we have down here. This is overall a neutral setup. It would imply for the next week we could trade between 274 and 385. 374 and 385. Basically about a 10-cent range. And that's what I'm looking for in that market. Also wheat. It made new highs on selling. The bearish level in that market is now at 504. I do look for a down move, and I look for that to happen today in our friend Mr. Wheat. Well, that concludes today's Advanced Market Studies. Thank you for sharing part of your day with me, and I'm looking forward to being with you again tomorrow. In the meantime, take care.